This is a Crypto Legends podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Martina Lewinska from Fiat Republic, and you're listening to the Crypto Legends, the show where we meet the legends and creators of Web3. Today, we have the pleasure of having Justin Hartzman, co-founder and CEO of CoinSmart, on the show. Justin is a startup fanatic. He has created successful Web2 e-commerce businesses before founding the crypto trading platform CoinSmart. Justin has religiously focused on the core reason CoinSmart exists, making crypto accessible. This has led to them being one of Canada's leading and most trusted crypto platforms. Hi, Justin. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. So excited to be here today.
Thanks so much. So I'm going to jump into the past first, if that's okay. So in 2005, you jumped headfirst into Web2 with the founding of All You Can Eat Internet, something you still believe in because you are still on the board. Tell us how it shaped your perspective of e-economies, the precursor of Web3.
Yeah, well, I actually go back further than that, before 2015 to Web 1. I was an early adopter, and it was just so incredible that you had this screen that connected before the internet, then to the internet. You had access to things that were out there to communicate with other people. And to me, as a lifelong entrepreneur, even before the internet, whether it was selling backpacks or working in retail or whatever it may have been in the past, it was a whole world that was open up to me. No longer did I have to focus on the people right around me, but this whole worldwide web of individuals that I could get out to. So for me, it was always something that was interesting. First got into things like first player shooter games online, creating bulletin boards where you can go and talk. And then we went to university or college, and kind of forgot about the internet for a little bit because I was busy focusing and studying, business and economics, and really had no time. When I came out of university in 2005, like you mentioned, I needed to do something. And for me, it was always an entrepreneurial something that I was looking for to do. I didn't want to go into management consulting or into, iBanking, which a lot of my friends and colleagues wanted to do. So I went to real estate and real estate development because I thought it was a good forte into many things. I could build my network. It was something that gave me the flexibility to work as much or as little as I wanted. But moving to a much larger city from the small city that I was born in, Kingston, Ontario, I was now living in Toronto. That was a very difficult thing to do, to break into a market that was quite established. People already had the people they were working with or developers that they had trust in before. So while I was trying to build up that business, I reached out to a couple of, good friends that I made online earlier, and I reached out to one of those people, and that person happened to be one of the founders of MySpace. And MySpace, if you went and looked it up at the time, he said to me, actually, I'll tell the story here for a second. Justin, I never really liked you before, but I know you want to do something here, and I'm creating a social network, but I don't create all the content. You do the content. You'll make a ton of money. And I'm like, wow, that sounds interesting. Tell me more about what's going on there. He deleted me off ICQ at the time, if people know. That was before MSN Messenger, before Slack, before all that sort of stuff. And I still remember my number, 725-208. I was like, holy, what does he mean? And you type social network online. Yahoo at the time, Google wasn't even that big then. It meant nothing. So I actually tracked him down. I emailed him and he said, okay, it's called myspace.com. I went to the site and it just, the lights went on. It was so real to me that he was building a network. People wanted to customize their space like you customize your dorm room, like you customize your house. And if they're not doing that, why don't we do that? So we were one of the first to provide all of the background images, the kitty cats that fall from the sky, the visitor maps, a music player before they had one. And we put that up. First day, the site went live and we had nobody. Day 2, we had 1,000 people. By the end of the week, we had 1 million people a day and growing. So it was absolutely incredible growth. I did this with my current co-founder right now, Jeremy Coven. And since then, it's just been a concession of building businesses for people with needs, servicing those needs, making it as easy as possible, and being hopefully at the right place at the right time. So we went from that. We sold that business 3 months after we started it. We took that money. We bought all of our competitors because we had an advantage in that space at that time. We had better advertising rates than anybody else. We packaged that up. We ran it for 9 months, and then we sold that as our second exit, all within 1 year of being within business. And that's when we created All You Can Eat Internet, a web brokerage firm, as well as WeSellYourSite.com. Because no one was there to sell those businesses for us, we knew there was a gap in the market. That's kind of how we always find something to do next. And so we became website brokers. We sold over 170 businesses for other people, Web2 businesses that all have a online presence, e-commerce or a content-based business or anything you can under the side, adult businesses, you name it. We sold it to fortune companies, private equity firms, portfolio holders, you name it. But it was a great introduction to the market. And that led us into a series of going, we've created all these businesses for people through our web brokerages, All You Can Eat Internet. We sold these businesses and understood them. We did all the due diligence on them, knew everything under the hood. Well, maybe it's time that we started our own startup. And in 2015, that's what we did. I think that's the progression of how we got from starting up together to our first official startup in 2015.
It's a great beginning of the journey. So you mentioned one thing here. It's about the growth. So tech companies carry heavy pressures, especially growth. Frequently, these pressures or spectacular failures arising from them are most informative, right? So can you speak a little bit more about your experience with it?
Absolutely. Listen, we have had some successes. I won't deny that. We've had 4 exits in total so far in our career since 2005. But we've also had some incredible failures. And this comes from many different things. One is being too early, not having the technology, the resources, the ability to build what we think that we can or want to and bring to market. So we've seen that on a few times. I remember one was this grocery product that we wanted to make, which allowed you to create a list of your shopping items that you want at the grocery store. And then it would look at all the grocery stores in your area to find the best place to get them for the cheapest for that basket of goods. But the data just wasn't rich enough at that time. The geo-targeting wasn't rich enough, and it was really hard to accomplish. Now that might be a fun side project to work on. So that was a failure. And then unfortunately, I just mentioned in 2015, we started our entrepreneurial journey in the way of a true tech startup. And that unfortunately was a big failure for us. It was a company in the social media space. We were the largest digital agency in the world based on customer accounts. We had 30,000 customers with a 20-person team. It was all based on artificial intelligence and automation. So when someone on social media said, my tooth hurts, what do I do? We'd recognize they need a dentist, and we showed them an ad for a dentist. But because we were reliant on third-party platforms, being that of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, when they went through some of their own issues at Cambridge Analytica and they started turning off all these funnels of data because they were being used in nefarious ways, us who were doing something very positive and working directly with, companies like Facebook and telling them what we were doing and how we were doing it, that was all taken away from us because they just couldn't have the security risk anymore. So unfortunately, that company did fail. We never recovered from the Cambridge Analytica situation where we no longer could service customers. We could no longer bring on new customers for about a 3 to 6 month period. And then eventually COVID was the end of that for us because as we were able to turn it around a little bit and bring it back online and add some new product sets, website builders and other things like that, everyone stopped advertising, and our advertisers were the micro businesses out there. So when COVID started, no one could do business. They weren't spending any money. We just knew at that time we didn't have enough capital, we didn't have enough resources to move forward, and the only option was to shut that down. So an awesome company building something really cool, bringing these big tools that institutions have to the small guys, so everyone could have it. Wrong place, wrong time. Stuff happens, and we got caught up in that. So you definitely have to learn from them. And what we did was learn from that. Make sure we get to product market fit sooner. Make sure that we work on revenue first. It's not only product, don't perfect product and take forever to get to it, but get it out there and really move forward in a way that we're bringing revenue in to support that and proper capitalization across the board and simply just learning how to manage people, time, and energy.
Yeah, I think it's all about kind of like all the learning experiences that you put into the new venture, right? So
Absolutely.
speaking of Bitcoin stories, so the most famous Bitcoin genre, I think it's probably the missed opportunity. Around 2010, your business was offered $5,000 in Bitcoin. Can you tell us a little bit more about that story?
Yeah, it's not a good one, but I can live with it now. It doesn't. It's not a big deal. Maybe one day I'll resolve it. Um, we had a client with all you can eat internet, as you mentioned before, and they asked us to build an iPhone app. So we did that. It was a $5,000 build. Wasn't anything too crazy. It was just something for his company or whatever it may be. And when it came down to payment time, he said, "Unfortunately, I can't pay you." And we're like, "Well, that doesn't really work for us. We did the effort, and we need to be paid. So why don't you come up with some solution?" And he said to us, "Justin, I have Bitcoin available. I'll pay you $5,000 worth of Bitcoin." Well, you go on Google at that time, you type in Bitcoin, and nothing exists. There's a bunch of crazy websites with wizards on them, and the original white paper, and all that sort of stuff. Um, but for us, we're entrepreneurs. Let's take a gamble. We said sure. I see the email where he says they've been sent, and I said thank you for that. But I don't remember what wallet, or if I had a computer that was it a paper wallet that it was sent to, or do we have to run Bitcoin Core at that time to take it in as a wallet? So somewhere, some way, I may be very wealthy with those coins, and not just myself, and my partners, and the people that they belong to. But all in all, we never bank on that. We look at always working hard to produce what we're looking to build big companies. And since then, we've been able to get in early into crypto and accumulate what we have. So I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, not a fun story. It'd be nice to have 5,000 Bitcoin at this price, or at 65,000, or where it's going to 100,000 plus. That'd be very nice.
Well, it is somewhere. We just don't know where it is. So that's the other part of the story. Cool.
Quite frankly, he may never have sent them, and I just didn't know what was going on. He still may have them. So who knows? But it's a good story to tell. That's for sure.
No, that's a good one. So leaving the past in the past and moving on to the present. So accessibility in cryptocurrency ought to be foundational, right? So tell us more about where CoinSmart comes into this.
That's exactly it. And that's why we kind of go, not kind of, that's why we did get into this market. I remember sitting at by a pool down in Florida with my family home, and I was trading crypto, and this is, early 2017, late 2017, and the markets were going crazy, and it was hard not to be making money in crypto at that time. And people were wondering, Justin, what's going on right now? What is it that you're doing? And I tried to tell them about it. The concept's just super hard to understand. And they're like, okay, well, we have the affordability to go out and buy some, and even if it's at a risk, help me to do that, Justin. Well, try and get a 35, 40, 55-year-old person to understand how to do what crypto was, and then get onto a platform and register. It was very difficult at that time. It took time. There was no support. When you sent money in, especially here in Canada, going to send a wire, if you're down in Florida in the US and you want to send a wire, you actually have to physically be in a branch to do that. So that made that very difficult at the same time. And once you sent the money, it may not have hit your account at that time for 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes 10. And now you've missed part of the market. So we knew that we could do it better. And what better meant to us was more accessible and more transparent and more trusted. And those are the themes that we live by today in everything that we do here. Our mantra is making cryptocurrency accessible, and we want to make it a way that you're never in a place where you're left wondering, or is that the right company to be doing business with? So regulatory first was always our approach, and I think that's key to talk about as one of the first FinTrack regulated companies here in Canada for cryptocurrency. And then we've been playing the role always of looking after going after regulatory as it's become available for us, so that people can understand that we're taking the right approach all the way along. Excuse me. So that's what we have done, and we're proud to say that we are a regulated entity here in Canada under the Ontario Securities Commission and the Canadian Securities Association, which gives us, the ability to work across Canada. We're audited. We are looked at, and under their purview. And then last year, November 2nd of last year, we also went public, which then gives a whole other level of transparency on what we're doing today, to have our financials out there for people to understand the players behind it and all of the things that we need to do to be compliant with being a publicly traded company. So we are the first publicly traded company, not the only now. We were the only, but we were the first publicly traded regulated platform, not only here in Canada, but also through Europe. And as well, we are SEN regulated down in the US for our Wyoming corporation as well.
And that is very impressive, honestly, because most regulatory stories in cryptocurrency are pretty negative. But I mean, you've mentioned this, CoinSmart is different because you've been one of the first Canadian exchanges to be compliant with FinTract. You're also a trust member. For the audience, Trust is a joint venture between multiple crypto exchanges in the US, Canada, and Singapore. You've spoken previously about the situation with Terra, Celsius, or 3AC. And how do you believe, being part of Trust, communities like Trust can help the industry come together and elevate credibility and prevent these kind of collapses from happening in the future?
Well, listen, I think the space is so new. We're still in the first half of the first inning. Maybe we're just got to the second inning, I guess, in the space right now. And that trust and transparency has to not only be us, because, and I'll back it up for a second, because regulatory is so important to us and we follow that by every single thing that we do. That's really stammered our growth and our innovation, because we can't offer all these products that other people are looking for. If you wanted to go to a DeFi protocol, if you wanted to buy NFTs, if you wanted to do yield or high interest accounts out there, and how stuff. So what's happening is they come to us because they trust us, and then they're sending money to these other platforms that regulators don't have jurisdiction over. So if we have things like trust that are coming in, to circle back to the question you're doing, and we're all working towards the same goal, and regulators are understanding that we're doing that and they know that we're doing it the right way, then maybe we can offer more of those products and services as individuals or the group in the trust platform, where if we're sending our clients funds within those spaces, we know they're still safe and secure and they're going to the right place. So it's super important, because I always say, we're there with our competitors. Is that a bad thing? People ask, and there's a bunch of competitors. No, we're in a nascent market with only 1.5% of the world in crypto right now. High tides raises all ships, and that's what we need. We need everyone to come together, do the right thing, help regulate this in the right way, and bring all these incredible products that could be nefarious if done improperly. And we've seen some of that done in the right way through regulated entities. And that's really what we're looking for as being part of Trust and other groups like that within Canada and abroad.
So it's probably safe to say that crypto space is also changing constantly. You've been speaking at various youth-led panels, most recently Toronto Metropolitan University. So where do you see the next generation of crypto entrepreneurs?
Well, I think that we've seen, early adoption was, middle-aged men. Truthfully, that's what it was. We've seen that move into all ages, men and women. I love to see that. This is ubiquitous to all people. This is not defined by one single group, and that's why it's so important that crypto gets out there. We've now seen millennials come in and get really interested through the NFT space. COVID has pushed that along, where people are at home out of all ages, very young, starting to trade, whether it's stocks and or crypto, and get really into it. And the whole idea is, the more people we can educate that this is a truly trustable asset class, much like a stock, a bond, a mutual fund, whatever it may be, and we get to them early and they can understand it, the more adoption we're bringing to the market, which outgrows crypto to where it should be and needs to be in the future. So it's all part of helping out and giving back. The idea is these people want to know more. If I can go and have a conversation with them, answer the questions that they have, I'm doing the right thing for the market. It's no sweat off my back, and I'm always available to help or guide anyone who's looking to get into the space and or just has a question or wants to move forward. If I know someone, I'm happy to do that introduction always.
Another interesting thing from CoinSmart is how you're doing right now. So every crypto platform has been impacted by the significant drop in the retail volumes. Yet CoinSmart only saw drops close to 30% as opposed to others experiencing more like 50 plus percent. So what's the secret? How have you achieved this?
Well, I think it goes to my team who does a really good job in being there for them, educating them at the same time. Like I said before, if you can be there for them before, during, and after any trade or thinking about doing a trade, that really gives people confidence. And we're one of the only, and we were the first to platform to have 24-hour, 7 day a week omni-channel support. So whether you want to chat with us, phone us, talk to us on social media, we're there always to service you. And I think that's a big piece of that. Our user experience that we give to our users in the way of ease of use is important. But more than that, it's our product diversification. We were not only a spot exchange, what we also have is very large over the counter trading capabilities where we work with institutional investors, traders of the like. They didn't, come off the market as much. This is a buying time for sophisticated investors with long-term horizons. So I think that was a key aspect. And we also have a piece of our product or our product offering called Smart Pay, where we're offering payment solutions to websites, local shops, you name it, where now people can use the crypto just the same way they would with a credit card and make payment for their favorite things out there today. And that's really helped us to stabilize our income. We have, or our revenue, I should say. We have obviously seen a decline like everyone else has, but I think we're preparing ourselves in a build mode right now to have some really good torque on when the market comes back to grow at a quicker pace than we did even previously, which was pretty immense between the years 2020 and 2022.
So I think the lesson is that be always very creative, have always kind of like this next big product that you can bring to your clients, to your customers. That's super useful.
Well, like I think payments, as I mentioned, Smart Pay is a huge piece of international adoption everywhere. I was actually just speaking at a conference called Futurist here in Toronto, and I was followed up by Vitalik, from Ethereum, and his whole conversation, unbeknownst to me, was what is the next biggest thing in crypto adoption, and he went into a whole tirade on how payments are so important and why the merge, which is anytime today or tomorrow is happening right now, is going to be helpful on Ethereum to reduce, have scalability and reduce costs because payments are so important. So I think that's a big piece for us. We really want to be ahead of the game, and that's what we're doing right now. And we have some incredible customers. We have this incredible pipeline of customers that are trying to even get online. We can't get people online fast enough and integrated to get this out there. So super exciting for us, and we look forward to seeing that business line grow into the future.
And what does making crypto accessible look like in 5 to 10 years for CoinSmart?
For CoinSmart, it's very simple. Is a holistic environment, a one-stop shop where you can, under regulatory regime, so very regulated, you can have all the products and services in crypto that you want to have access in a single place. We don't want you to have to come to us, send us your money, put it into Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you want, and then send it to another venue. We want to be able to do it all here. I think that's very important. A place, if you trust a place to send you their money, you'll trust them to invest your money with it. Banking services, payment services, you name it, all in one house. And that's what we're working towards.
That's great. And what's the next thing? So you're currently focused mainly on the Canadian market. Where do you see your international expansion?
We're also in Europe right now, and we're seeing a slower expansion there during this time, and really understanding our customer set. What we have noticed is they're looking for, like I mentioned, a little more product than what we have to offer under regulatory regime right now. So we'll see how that expands. But I think you have to wait and see for some announcements. I can't really get out there as a public company to announce them before they happen. So stay tuned, follow us at what we're doing, and I think people will be impressed.
That's great. We'll definitely will be watching. So thank you, Justin. You're genuinely a crypto legend, honestly, and it was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, thank you very much. This is awesome. I look forward to come back and talking about next steps later on. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks. Stay tuned for more legendary tales as we bring those most inspiring stories from the crypto legends of Web3. Crypto Legends is to be continued.